everyone, and welcome to Sportsballin. I'm Dylan Simmons, joined by my co-host Evan Snyder and TJ Warner. Let's keep dancing like it's high school prom as we get right into the action. Yesterday, the final puzzle pieces were put together for the Final Four. San Diego State, Florida Atlantic, UConn, and Miami have all punched their tickets like the Polar Express conductor. This is the first time in history that no top three seeds are in the Final Four. What did you guys make of all this?
Yeah, this was complete chaos, is what some would say, by the seeding. Because obviously you see 9-seed FAU in the Final Four.
Yes, sir.
And San Diego State winning off of a very controversial call against Creighton in that Elite Eight game. The Elite Eight games lived up to the hype, in my opinion. -1. I think the UConn-Gonzaga game, that was very lopsided, but that credit to UConn. I mean, they've been killing teams night in, night out throughout the whole tournament.
Yes.
But to go back on that, Miami and Texas, that was a great Elite Eight game to watch. San Diego State, Creighton, that was a great game to watch until the end. Very iffy call. I don't know if you call that a foul in that situation. And then the Kansas State FAU game went down to the wire too. I mean, FAU only won by 3. But very, very overall great Elite Eight games. And I love seeing this Final Four. This is a different Final Four that we've ever seen. If you looked at last year's Final Four, it was like Kansas, Duke, North Carolina, Villanova.
Right.
All blue bloods.
Yes.
We don't have that this year's Final Four. You could argue UConn,
maybe UConn, yeah.
But there's not that blue blood powerhouse that you see in this Final Four, and I love that about this.
Yeah, sure. I mean, this definitely has been one of the better March Madnesses that we've seen in a while. I know Dylan will touch on that here in a little bit later in the show, but I mean, it's been exciting. Like, we've had a lot of upsets, like Princeton making a deep run, almost being a 15 seed, making it to the Elite Eight.
Yep.
Unfortunately lost in their Sweet 16 matchup. But this has been exciting to watch, especially for me, not being a huge basketball guy. This has probably been the one time where I've actually watched some of the games and been excited to watch some of them. And also, I got to love, too, partly because I'm from Florida. I love seeing two Florida teams in the Final Four.
That's right.
I'd love to see a FAU-Miami matchup, which quite possibly could happen. Because you look at San Diego State versus FAU, I think FAU has it over San Diego State because San Diego State, like you said, is only coming off a 1-point win against Creighton, and FAU's looked good this entire tournament, except their Elite Eight matchup where they only won by a couple points. They've looked really, really solid. And you also got to say the same about Miami versus UConn. Miami has upset a bunch of teams so far. They made a huge run, and they have a lot of momentum behind them as well. And I talked about it on the last show as well. Momentum can be a huge thing in playoffs, especially when it comes down to March Madness where anything could happen. And I definitely think we could see FAU-Miami in this national championship.
Well, I'd certainly like that. And the first thing I got to say is, how about them Hurricanes? How about that U? Pulling out that victory. You got to love it every step of the way. The U is back in session, and part of this feels like an indication.
He can't afford colored ink.
He can't get the colored ink. Straight from the MTSU James Walker Library printers right here, vintage U. Now listen, all right?
You know they have color printing, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't need color printing because the true colors of Miami have shown through. Now listen, all I've heard for the past, since September, all right? MTSU beat Miami. Did you know MTSU beat Miami? Yes, I did in football. But you know what? This is a sacrifice that had to be made because the U is now in the Final Four, and they're going to go all the way. You talk about guys like Mr. Nigel Pack, who had a fantastic performance against Houston. Of course, Jordan Miller. I mean, this guy, he was as perfect as Cell from Dragon Ball Z against Texas. 27 points. He became only the second player in tournament history to be perfect from the free throw line and from the field. This guy was automatic. Now, we've also seen how the team performed overall, really as a whole unit. Everybody came up and stepped up and performed. It was Isaiah Wong, it was Pack, it was Jordan Miller, and Jim Larragana has built an incredible culture with this entire team. They made the Elite Eight last year, and now they've just translated that and reached the next level, and they've shown what they're capable of. And honestly, I don't know if there's a team that can stop them in the rest of this tournament. I do think the UConn game could decide who makes the national championship, but either way, I think Miami has got what it takes. And really, they've had the momentum because a lot of people, they thought that Drake was going to beat the Canes. Lest we not forget, they've come back and proven all of those people wrong. And now the question is, can any of these other teams match up? I think Florida Atlantic could potentially, as well as UConn. San Diego State, maybe not so much, but I'll save that for another time. I think it's going to be down to those teams, but it's certainly been interesting.
Yeah, and you talked about the Final Four matchup between UConn. I think UConn is no doubt the betting favorite to win the national championship at this point in time. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind at that point. Because look at what they've done. They killed Gonzaga. They killed an Arkansas team that just was fresh off a win against Kansas.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just look at the certain situations that UConn has been in, UConn is definitely the betting favorite at this moment in time.
Yeah, definitely. You look at it, how UConn's run up to the Final Four, they might have had a little bit tougher of a time through their bracket compared to Miami, but like you said, people thought Drake was going to beat Miami.
Yes.
We also got to take in consideration as well, this is Miami's very first Final Four appearance in school history.
Yeah.
So that's definitely going to be riding and be in the back of these guys' mind when they take the court against UConn.
And you know,
because they want to make school history even more.
For three of these teams, it's their first Final Four appearance.
Yeah, exactly.
That hasn't happened since the 70s.
Which that could also mean a lot to these guys as well, because they're playing not only for themselves, but they're playing for their school pride as well, which you get that thrown in the mix as well with just being passionate about it anyway, with it being playoff basketball. You could definitely get some really scrappy games for this Final Four.
And I'm excited about the FAU-San Diego State game because that's two teams that have no business being in the Final Four. San Diego State, I don't think they're a great team at all, but when you make it to the Final Four, it's kind of hard to argue that. Ledee is a straight dog for them. He's a guy that you can count on to get 20 points and 10 rebounds every single game. Yeah. And the job that he does inside the paint, whether it's shot blocking, contesting shots, or just getting offensive rebounds and getting nice, easy putbacks and keeping his team afloat. Ledee is a great playmaker for the Aztecs. That's going to be a fun matchup to watch. San Diego State's a bigger, taller team, really focuses on getting boards and shooting shots in the paint, and FAU's a smaller team and likes to spread it out, shoot threes. It's going to be a fun matchup to see how those two teams clash.
Yeah, very physical clash of styles, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see how all these games play out. But, you know, I have to say again, Larragana, what an incredible culture that he's provided, and, you know, he's had some moves that he's liked to show off, so I want to see those moves. In honor of him, hit it. Oh, look at that. Look at those moves. Oh.
Looks like Dylan trying to dance.
No, Dylan's worse. He's doing better.
That's a little bit better.
Yeah. It's like I'm back at 4-H Roundup doing the Running Man. You know, everyone knows how good.
Oh, we need to bring. We should bring that clip up.
Where's that clip at? Yeah, let's get Dylan's clip out here. Let's put it side by side.
But the other thing too, with this, it kind of shows. Kind of showing who's at the helm of this, how loose he is going into this Final Four.
And the thing is, he's building a culture, and he's making all of those people on the team, all of those players believe.
No, definitely.
And when you play loose like that, and when you have that kind of belief, it reflects on the entire program. They're playing with a certain fire right now. You got to love it.
I would love to play for a coach like that.
Absolutely.
Killer dance moves.
Absolutely. This tournament only proves that chaos is reigning supreme in March Madness. When we return, we will have the Grizzlies growling away the Hawks and Nashville SC suffering a setback. All that and more when we return on Sportsballin.
To pose, now shush. She makes the sound she makes to calm me down. Oh. I'm here. Can you see me? 'Cause I feel like I'm invisible. Like this whole place is invisible. If it weren't for the nightly news, no one would even think of this place. But down here, things look different. Down here, our spirits are bright and our dreams are vivid. And if given a chance, that's what the world would see.
past 50 years, we've made a lot of progress in smoking prevention. But if we don't do more, 1 out of every 13 children alive today will die early from smoking. That's 5.6 million precious lives we can save. Together, we can make the next generation tobacco-free.
Welcome back, folks. The Grizzlies took care of business at home against the Atlanta Hawks on Sunday. Ja Morant has returned and picked up right where he left off by leading the team in points. Desmond Bane was not far behind, and the duo would combine for 52 total points on the night. With 8 games left in the season, does Memphis have any chance of capturing the 1 seed?
I mean, you got to think they do. I mean, because they're not too far behind the Nuggets. The Nuggets are their only competition for the 1 seed right now. I don't think there's any question about that. The Grizzlies, they're gonna have to more than likely win out, though. I think for them to have a legitimate shot at beating the Nuggets for the 1 seed, and that is a huge win for Memphis if they can do that too. Because having home court advantage, they're a really good home team. Having home court advantage throughout the whole playoff series until the NBA championship, possibly, that is a huge win for them. So if they can somehow do that, and with Ja back right now, I mean, the Hawks is not a tough team, and I don't think that's a good matchup for the Grizzlies in my opinion. I think the Hawks is a really bad matchup for them.
Yep.
But them getting it done, Ja and Desmond Bane went off 27 and 25 points apiece. Man, they're a team to watch out for in the playoffs really soon, especially if Luke Kennard did a couple nights ago where he hit 10 threes. That's a franchise record.
Yeah.
So watch out for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, pushing towards the number 1 seed, like TJ said, it is possible they do have to win out, which I agree with TJ. I don't really see that happening. But this Grizzlies team, since Ja's return, has looked completely different.
Yes.
Like you compare this Grizzlies team to now to a couple months ago, looks like an entirely different team.
Absolutely
They're firing on all
team.
cylinders. Not only is Ja Morant popping off, but you have Desmond Bane, like TJ mentioned as well.
Yep.
You have really key contributors on their starters too that are really starting to really find their stride as well. And again, the bench is coming to life as well. And I mentioned it very early in the season as well of the show. If the Grizzlies can figure out towards the end of the season to have everybody contributing, everybody play together, they could make a run towards the NBA Finals.
Yes.
The only thing that's going to be the bump of the road for them is how bad of a road team they are. I believe they have a 15 and 22 record on the road, which is horrible.
Not
it's
great.
horrendous. It's not great at all. So if the Grizzlies can really touch that up and really fine-tune their road play a lot, they could potentially make a huge run towards the NBA Finals. And honestly, I kind of want to call it, like, I'd love to see the Grizzlies versus Celtics.
I would love to see that as
I know
well.
you would love to see the Celtics
Oh, yeah.
bandwagon. But I know you would love to see that. But, yeah, if the Grizzlies keep doing what they're doing, they have a chance to win out, but I still see that chance of winning out being on the lower side.
Yeah, and they're just 3 games behind the Nuggets too, so it's
Right.
it's very possible.
It's doable, yeah.
very doable.
It's not impossible by any means to be the number 1 seed, but it's going to take the Nuggets to trip up a couple of times the rest of the season as well.
Yeah, no, they're going to have to quickly hurry up. And I'll say this, I mean, I'm not a bandwagon for one, gosh, but I think Celtics versus Grizzlies would be fantastic. And remember, Memphis has won 6 straight games. They've been playing a very, very efficient style, and I think they've got a chance to keep it up. But, man, the Bucks, come on now. All right, Nashville SC did not have the same luck against FC Cincinnati. Although the club did have statistical dominance in many categories, they could not break through the Cincinnati defense. Brandon Vasquez would score the lone goal at Geodis Park in the 48th minute, and it would end up being the deciding goal on the game. Is this also cause for panic now?
No, it's still early in the season. I mean, our defense did not look that good for Nashville SC, but Brandon Vasquez did score on a rebound. Joe Willis as we see here, had a beautiful block on the first shot attempt.
Yes.
And then Vasquez was just at the right place at the right time, was able to sneak through our defenseman, and was there to get the rebound and barely snuck it past Joe Willis, as we see here on the screen, on that rebound that he got there. I think the only really concern that we have right now is just offensive production.
Yep.
And also, too, defense a little bit. But Joe Willis is showing he is one of the top goaltenders in the MLS at the moment, and he's starting to prove that. It's just the defensive line just really isn't backing him as much. And I mean, we have Walker Zimmerman, who was a cornerstone of the U.S. national team, and he really hasn't looked too well so far this season, these last couple games. And also, too, I want to go back to talking about offense. We did have about 54% of offensive possession, which when you have that much offense possession in a game, you really need to be doing something with that, really need to get more shots on that.
I agree with that 100%, and I think you've also got to think about the fact that Nashville SC, and taking on the opponent of SC Cincinnati, it's a team that has not lost a game thus far this year. They're 3-0-2, 3 wins and 2 draws, no losses, so they're still pretty good. I think SC is going to be okay. I think that they should have gotten Mukhtar more looks. I don't know if he had quite as many looks as I would have liked to have seen in this game. I mean, you're talking about maybe the best player in the MLS, and I think that he needed to get more opportunities overall in this game. But I still think Nashville SC is going to be okay. They don't need to hit the panic button yet. It's still early in the season, and that's the important thing to remember for them. The great thing is that it's still early, and Nashville SC can come back in due time. When we come back, it's time to get cooking like a hydrodynamic spatula with our hot takes of the week. Stick around.
America, welcome home the brave. The brave men and women who serve their country are coming home. Home to their cities and towns. Home to their mountains and valleys. Home to their families and friends. Home to America. Some of these warriors are coming home with wounds you can see, and some with wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Wounded Warrior Project was created to provide the support these wounded veterans need to ensure their return to America is well-adjusted and successful. But we need your help to ensure that our mission is a success. Help us honor and empower these wounded warriors. Contact us at findwwp.org. America, welcome home the brave.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, pet them, care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can bring them with you wherever you go. You can jump, yell, hide and go seek, play dress up, or not. Go for a walk, or not. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that. But you can adopt one. 'Cause we're connected. We're connected.
From Iraq and Afghanistan, our brave warriors are coming home, wounded. Some with wounds you can see, some with wounds you can't see. Wounded Warrior Project was created to support our men and women coming off the battlefield. Please help carry these warriors the rest of the way home. Get involved at woundedwarriorproject.org.
It's grilling time with our hot takes of the week. TJ, take it away.
So my hot take of the week is Conference USA will win all 3 major postseason tournaments. They've already won the CBI, so Charlotte's won that. North Texas and UAB are both in the semifinals on opposite sides of the bracket for the NIT tournament. And FAU, obviously, as we know, we talked about earlier, they're in the Final Four. All those are Conference USA teams. I have Conference USA making the Triple Crown run and winning all 3 postseason tournaments. I don't know who's going to win it for NIT, UAB or North Texas. I don't really know or care. I just want one of them to win. I think FAU has a chance to make. Really do. I think they have a chance to, at worst, make the national championship. I don't think San Diego State's a good player, great team at all. I think FAU can definitely keep them on their heels and at least make a run to the national championship. Whoever they face, if they face Miami, I think they have a chance. If they face UConn, I don't know if they have much of a chance. I don't think they have much of a chance. But FAU, I'm betting on you guys. That's my hot take of the week. I think FAU's the hot part of this hot take.
I'm gonna agree with TJ though, because
really,
I'm gonna stay with CUSA. Let's go, Conference
the duo.
USA. Let's get
duo.
It. Turn us up.
You're sticking with a team that's gonna leave CUSA next year. They're not
cares?
even gonna be
Who's
around.
on CUSA
They're
right now?
CUSA this year, and guess who beat them last? MTSU.
Exactly.
So if they win the national championship, we're the national champions.
That's pushing it. But I do agree with TJ. I think FAU can get it done. I feel like they breeze past San Diego State. It doesn't matter. Miami or UConn, either one in front of them, I'm going FAU.
Wow.
Winning the NCAA tournament.
Oh.
I'm going UAB wins the NIT, and then Charlotte already won their tournament. Because, I mean, you look
CBI, yeah.
CBI. I mean, you look at UAB and the NIT, they beat a good Vanderbilt team, and they're all around right behind FAU, one of the best teams in Conference USA. And I feel like they could take on almost any team that's
Jordan
put in front of
Jelly
them.
Walker's a beast.
Exactly.
Oh, no, he is a beast, yeah.
I agree with this. But I do agree that FAU winning, though, is the hottest part of this hot take, but I think FAU still gets it done, though.
I have to disagree because I don't think...
you're a Miami Hurricane fan.
No, well, that's not the reason why necessarily. Even if I wasn't, I don't think they'll beat the winner of UConn Miami, Florida Atlantic, that is. Now, I think Conference USA will win the NIT, and they've already won the CBI. I think, and put that U down. My gosh.
Is down.
The U slander today
Don't make
is
me break it over my
absolutely...
knee
Don't make
next.
me pull this out again.
I'll
All
break
right,
it
now
over my
listen,
knee.
I'm
Get
going to
some colored
say...
ink.
Okay, listen. No, you
supposed
got
to
to
be
think
green
about
and
this.
orange.
No 9 seed has ever won a national championship.
This will be the first time.
All right?
All
Yeah, this
right.
will be the first time ever, and Florida Atlantic is going against the
They haven't
odds.
won an NCAA tournament game till this year, and
The
now
biggest
they're
question
Final
is
Four.
who's their standout star, and I don't know if Florida Atlantic necessarily has that. I think Miami and UConn are just better rounded
Go
teams.
Owls.
I think they can make the national title, but no more.
This guy.
Evan, what's your hot take?
All right, my hot take, I've been talking about motorsports a lot recently, so I'm throwing it to motorsports as well. Talking about Monster Energy Supercross, talking about the 250 East Division and Hayden Deegan. I think he's going to win a race this year. There's 4 races left for the 250 East class, so he has a lot of time to get it done. He has 2 podiums so far this season, both third places. He's finished 4th in 2 other races as well. And really, these last couple races, other than he had a bit of a hiccup, not this past race, but the race previous, where he did kind of mess up on the whoops a little bit and did go down. But I think he has the speed, he has the skill, and I think, honestly, if Star Racing Yamaha lets him loose and actually full-blown go out there, I think Hayden Deegan can contend with Jet Lawrence and his teammates for the win. And I think he personally can get it done. He has what it takes. He's a young kid, 17 years old, and he's proved everybody wrong so far. And this year for him is supposed to be a learning year. This is his first year in Supercross. He's never raced Supercross before. And he's doing stuff that, guys like Eli Tomac, Ricky Carmichael, James Stewart, those kind of guys have done early in their 250 career. And Hayden Deegan can definitely win a race. He's already won a heat race as well, so I think he can definitely get it done.
I think it's going to be tough. Here's the thing.
I agree.
Hayden is 17 years old. He's very young. He's still learning, as you mentioned. Now, of course, his father, Brian Deegan, a very accomplished motocross racer in his own right. He's shown a lot of potential, and he did get a podium. He's podiumed twice now, once at Daytona and once at, I can't remember the other spot, but he's podiumed also somewhere else. And I do think he's got a chance. It's going to be tough. He's dealing with some very tough competition, some of the best in the world, but he's shown a lot of promise early, and I think he's finished no worse than 4th. I think we were talking about that before the show. So he's definitely got potential. And you know what? I'll actually pick him to win. I think he'll win in Nashville. That's my prediction.
Oh, yeah.
April 29th in Nashville, he gets the win. That's my prediction, but I could see it happening. It's going to be tough, though. We'll see how it works out for Hayden Deegan. Now, moving on to my hot take, I think that 2023 has been the best March Madness tournament ever. You heard me. Now, I think it's hard to argue this fact when you look at what we've already seen with the amount of parity present. I mean, with some of these teams winning, you would think that these teams would not win under any circumstance. You would think that these teams would win as often as Half-Life 3 would be coming out, all right? Because it's been insane what we've seen thus far, but look at what Furman's done. Look at what Fairleigh Dickinson done. I didn't even know that team existed. They shouldn't have even been there in that position, and yet they found a way to do it. Of course, we've seen Princeton make a Sweet 16 run, and of course, the Final Four being a no team above a 4 seed. So, I mean, that's just insane parity. What do you guys think?
First of all, I love the Half-Life reference. Absolutely
Yes,
love
I
that.
figured
Valve,
you would.
please come at Half-Life 3. Anyway,
Yes.
I think it'll be the perfect March Madness once Miami loses. Once Miami loses, it is perfect. And once FAU takes home the natty, it'll be amazing. But no, in all seriousness, it has been a really good bracket, and it has been fun to watch.
I don't agree with this at all, actually. I think there's been so many buzzer beaters in other tournaments that it's just made the tournament so much more exciting. And there's the upsets this year, like they're by 15 or 20 points, and they're not really exciting. Besides the Furman one, that's the only one.
That
and to
one
think
was
about
awesome,
the
though.
Final Four teams, people are like, oh, they came out of nowhere. Every single Final Four team was in the AP Top 25 before the tournament started. FAU was the worst one at 25.
I think the most
You
exciting,
can't really
though-
argue that this has been a greatest tournament if there's really not any surprise teams in the Final Four.
I mean, I could maybe see that, but I think you got to argue this has been an insane March Madness, and I think the Final Four is only going to make things better. As you would say, TJ, this tournament is all about making us fans say, turn me up. When we come back, we are going to pick and roll, like Chris Paul with our picks of the week. Stick around because like Ross and Rachel, we're only on a break.
To pose, now shush. She makes the sound she makes to calm me down. She makes the sound she makes needy. She makes the sound she makes needy. Bigger no sea.
I'm here. Can you see me? 'Cause I feel like I'm invisible. Like this whole place is invisible. If it weren't for the nightly news, no one would even think of this place. But down here, things look different. Down here, our spirits are bright and our dreams are vivid. And if given a chance, that's what the world would see.
In the past 50 years, we've made a lot of progress in smoking prevention. But if we don't do more, 1 out of every 13 children alive today will die early from smoking. That's 5.6 million precious lives we can save. Together, we can make the next generation tobacco-free.
Welcome back to Sportsballin. It's now time for our picks of the week. First up, we've got the Nashville Predators at the Boston, as you'd say, Evan Brunis, Tuesday at 6 p.m. What do you guys think?
Yeah, give me the Boston Bruins this one. I don't trust the Preds at all anymore. I'll take Boston.
The Bruins are the best team in hockey, arguably, right now, so I'm going the Bruins.
Brunis. He can't say it right. Okay. Now, me and Evan have basically made a pact that the Preds they're on a tailspin right now. We just don't think that they're playing at the same level. And
John Hines.
Can't even talk about
them. We can't even talk about them without losing stuff. So, yeah, I think the Preds are going to do what they do and lose again. This is a really good Bruins team, by the way. Really contending for the President's Trophy. Tough team to beat. All right, Memphis Grizzlies versus Orlando Magic, Tuesday at 7.
These are two of the youngest teams in the league. Orlando's got a lot of young superstars, but they don't have Ja Morant. Give me the Memphis Grizzlies big.
Yeah, I'm going Grizzlies by like 20.
I think Memphis takes this one pretty easily. They're playing with some really great stuff right now. And finally, we've got our last pick here, Nashville SC versus Orlando FC, Saturday at 6:30.
Give me Nashville FC in this one.
Yeah, give me Nashville. I think they clean it up compared to their last loss, and they take it over Orlando City.
I think Nashville takes it pretty easily. All right, guys, it's time to wrap this thing like Eminem doing a freestyle. Make sure to catch Sportsballin every week right here on Blue Raider Television. For TJ Warner and Evan Snyder, I'm Dylan Simmons saying so long and have an electric night.